And welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. My name is Gary. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to bring to you somebody that's, that has been in my life for past several years now and has just been one of those leaders, I don't know if I want to call her one of those quiet leaders, but has been one of those inspiring people that you just see around quite a bit. And I'm just excited to bring to you none other than Amber Graham. Guys, y'all give it up for Amber. Amber, can you hear the clapping?
I can.
I know, it's pretty exciting, huh?
Awesome.
Well, Amber, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Amber, and my full-time daytime job, I work for a company that owns 17 IHOPs. And I kind of do all their auditing, compliance, and billing, and whatever they need. So stay busy, and I've learned a lot there. Not there, I do Mary Kay, and I'm a servant leader at our church, and I've got 3 adult children and a 16-year-old. So. Oh
my gosh!
And you got 3 cats and a dog. So.
And a husband.
Yes.
You've got a lot going on. So you described you've got an occupation, working for a company that owns 17 IHOPs, and you've got a vocation where you work with Mary Kay, and then you've got all of this devotion stuff where you are, a servant leader at church. You've got family, adult children. You've got a younger child at home, not young, 16-year-old, and you got a husband. So you got a full calendar of things that you do. That's
Yes.
impressive.
Yes.
Yeah,
Stay busy. I love every minute of it, but
that's awesome. I mean, you have to be able to lead yourself to be able to lead all these other things that you've got going on. And, that's one of the things, Amber, that's always impressed me about you is you've always been that kind of, I don't want to call it a quiet leader, but you've been that quiet leader, but you have such a handle on all of these things in your life. And, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show is because you really do have that handle. And I think that takes internal leadership. And so, I reached out to you because I wanted to figure out there's one of the animals that you're leading through the show. Let's move on.
Yes. Go on.
So I reached out to you and asked, hey, Amber, what inspires you? And I've got some great points that I can't wait to chat with you about. So the first thing that you shared that inspires you, and a lot of people may be like, I don't know about that, but you said your past inspires you. So share with us what that means. Why does your past inspire you?
So I have gone through a whole lot of things in my past, and I've used those as stepping stones, really, to progress in life or learn from those. I could have let them, get me stuck where I was at or negative impact on them. But instead, I look back at those, I'm like, this is where I was at, and now I'm come this far. And if I can get through these things, then why not allow that to inspire me and to use those to help inspire other people?
So. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. and Amber, I think that's such an emotionally intelligent approach because, like you said, a lot of people will hang on to their past. It becomes their luggage or their backpack or the things they fill their pockets with, and it weighs them down, instead of using it, like you said, as a stepping stone. So you're taking all of this mountain of past, and you're using it to get yourself to the next level, and you recognize that. I think that's, would you feel, comfortable saying that is what you use to continue to grow and move forward?
Absolutely. I don't want to get stuck looking at it. So I'll look at it briefly to see, this is the lesson I learned here. And there are still some things that I've gone through that I don't know what the lesson is yet, but I know that eventually I will know what they are. So
yeah, I love it. And I like how you say you don't get stuck in that past. And so you're using that to kind of move forward from, and it's that lesson learned. And that's pretty clever, Amber. I like how you shared that, I don't know what the lesson was from this thing in my past, but maybe someday it'll come to me. I'll have that lesson and I'll use it as well to get me to my next point. That's so brilliant. I think that's such an inspiration. And I probably would imagine, Amber, this next point that you shared is probably what inspires you to use your past. But you talked about faith as an inspiration. And I personally agree with you. And I want to hear from you. What does it mean? What does faith mean to you? And how does that inspire you?
So I started going to church when I was younger, probably middle school, with my grandmother. And she really set that just stepping stone for me to, get to know Christ and get to know the Bible. And through that, no matter what struggle that I've gone through, I know I can lean, on God. And I've got this wonderful Bible to read that if I don't understand something, I can find it in there. Somewhere there's going to be a scripture that's going to help get there. Serving at our church, there's around all the faith-filled people. When I'm feeling weak or just something's going on and I'm not filled up to that, there's always going to be somebody I can reach out to that is filled with that faith and get me back to where I need to be. So faith is just like that middle ground, that center point of everything with my life. So,
oh, wow. I love that. And I love how you described it, faith as that center point. Everything works around that center point, but no matter where you're at in your world, you focus on faith as that center point. And, a couple of things you talked about, Amber, that I like is, using the Bible as a resource. It truly is just filled with wisdom. I mean, it's God's wisdom, and it is such an amazing reference. No matter what you want to call that book or how you view it, it is a reference and a way to live life. And then, Amber, you talk about connecting that with the people at church. Those are your people, your alignments, if you will, that you connect with. So if you need that extra oomph, you've got people around you that are faith-filled.
Absolutely.
That is so neat. I love how you describe faith, and I really do. I appreciate your description of it being your center point. That is such a brilliant move to make that, an inspiration. I truly do that. So the next thing, Amber, you talked about that inspires you, which is really cool, is your husband and your kids inspire you. So tell us what that means. Why would your husband and your kids inspire you? If you've got a spouse and kids, it can be a lot of work, right?
Yes, it can.
But they inspire you. So tell us a little more about that.
I will start with my husband. You obviously know Brian very well, but he is just a very caring, loving guy. And no matter what is going on, he's there to encourage me. I mean, it can be the simplest of things or something that I'm really struggling with, and he's always there to encourage me. So his encouragement inspires me. In the past, I have been married before, and this relationship just shows me what a spouse is supposed to be. So that inspires me to be a better wife to him, because I finally have that person that I'm supposed to be with. So my adult children, they're 18, 21, and 20 now. Think about that for a second.
Wow. Yeah, right.
And then I've got, the youngest, which is 16, my bonus son. They're all just amazing. But the adult children, I raised them as a single mom for years. So kind of seeing just where they're at. Some of them are not in the best place now, but we're getting there, going through the struggles. Mm-hmm. But seeing where they're at and just learning from them as well inspires me, because there'll be something that they might say, or, as a 21-year-old, my daughter will call me and ask me a question that I'm like thinking she might know the answer to, but she wants to, use me for those kind of things. So just their questions or just their journey through life inspires me to be a better mom. So I have a lot of inspiration from family. So. Yeah,
I love that. In fact, I agree. I've known Brian for years now, and he truly is one of those guys that is just like always like, hey, I'm cheering you on. I'm encouraging you. He's got such passion to encourage others and to inspire others. So I can see how he would inspire you. He's inspired me as well along the way. And, the cool thing, I love how you recognize that, where, your husband, Brian, is doing so much for you, and it encourages you to be better for him. And so it's
Yes.
you're each encouraging and inspiring each other to be better for the other person. And I think that's such a great way to look at, a relationship, a marriage. And the cool thing, the secondary part of that is your kids. You've gone through the struggles, single parent, now they're grown and they come back and ask you questions, but it's the things that you do and the way that they look at life and still want to come back to you. That is definitely got to be an inspiration when your kids still come to you for guidance and and just questions.
Yes.
That is
Absolutely.
And it's neat to see. I have an adult son as well, and it's so inspiring to see them grow and be successful and get through the challenges and stuff. So I totally relate where you're coming from, Amber, having an adult child and seeing them do well. Nothing better than that, almost. So Amber, one of the last thing that you shared with me that inspires you, which I can relate to. You talked about writing. Writing inspires you. So tell us a little bit more about that. Where does this come from, and how does writing inspire you?
So I have liked to write since I was little. I'm probably one of those crazy kids that, like, when we got assigned essays in schools, like, I got excited about it because I like to write. So I also journal a lot. So that kind of inspires me. I say this to say that journaling it's a healthy way to get your thoughts out and process them. Mm-hmm. So through doing that, it has them on paper, and sometimes I'll even go back years later and look at them and see, like, wow, this is how far again I've come from something. So saving the journal sometimes and going back and reading them is just as inspiring for that. Mm-hmm. But I also like writing to help other people, whether it's just a quick little, Bible verse on Facebook or something else. I want to be that light, that encouragement. And if I need to share a story about, myself or things I've been through, as hard as it may be to put that out there, for the public or world to see, I want to just be that person that, hey, you can come to me, maybe I can help you get through this situation. So writing inspires me in just a lot of ways to inspire others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's two things that you talked about, about writing is those journals. I believe that it helps you just kind of process the things that you're going through. And then you mentioned, the first thing you mentioned is your past inspires you. And I love how you can go back to your journals, kind of review some of those notes and those thoughts and everything, and use that as a continuous inspiration for yourself. And then the second thing that I think is really cool that you do is the authenticity and transparency that you have when you write, because and I've seen your writing on LinkedIn. You've become one of those prolific writers and sharing these things. And I do believe that when you share those things, people connect with you when you're showing authenticity and being transparent about, hey, this is real life. These are the things that happen, and this is how we negotiate through those obstacles. And those are inspirational. And in fact, just kind of sidebar note, guys, go find Amber on LinkedIn. She truly has become or may have always been, but I've noticed recently she's become a prolific writer and shares on LinkedIn. And she's got some great stories, encouragement there on LinkedIn. So, make sure you follow her because she's got some great stuff out there. So I can really see where that writing inspires you because, one, it gets those thoughts out, and two, allows other people to connect and be inspired from your thoughts.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Amber, we are getting close to the end of our time. It's been great chatting with you and learning a little bit more about you. And I want to give you a chance to share a closing thought before we wrap up.
Absolutely. So I guess my closing thought would really just be, let the people that that you love and care about know that you love them and care about them each day. Because in the end, we're not promised tomorrow. So they just reach out to them and just let them know. that they're loved and they're cared about. So
Amber, that's powerful, guys. You heard it from Amber. Tomorrow's not promised. Today's not promised. So the people that you care about, go tell them how awesome they are. Tell them you love them, whatever it takes. Just give them that little bit of encouragement. Amber, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you're awesome. Thank you for being a part of the Super Fantastic Exchange. Guys, go follow Amber Graham on LinkedIn. She's got some great stuff that she's sharing, and I encourage you to engage with it, connect with Amber, because she really does have some thoughtful articles that she's sharing on LinkedIn. Guys, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Super Fantastic Exchange. Amber, brilliant stuff. Thank you for inspiring us, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.